Hello and welcome to Felt and Caboodle. Today we're going to be making one of our new limited edition decorative egg kits. Now this is a collaboration box from the Romney Marsh walls and ourselves here at Felt and Caboodle. So let's open the box. So inside you will find a link to this video, an instruction booklet, an eco felting pad, a wooden dowel, a 36 and a 40 gauge needle, and a clear egg stand, and then a selection of wools. Now this is Romney Marsh wools, so this is undyed natural, and this is all hand dyed by us here at Felt and Caboodle. Right, so let's get started. Now to fill your eco pad, all you need is some dry rice. You're going to open your bag up and pour your rice in. Now you don't want to overstuff it because you want a nice bit of movement in your bag. So I would say around just over halfway. Pull it closed. Do it nice and tight so none of the rice falls out. And there you have your felting pad. Along with this video, I will be teaching you a couple of techniques that I've used on our eggs. So I'll be teaching you how to get this raised effect, how to do the little bluebells and the buds and the vines. Now this egg's a lot simpler, so you can do this design. It won't be as difficult as this, so it's great if you've only just started and it's more about blending in the colours. So that is something that we will work on a little bit later once we've done the eggs. Now to start, we're going to remove our needles from the cases. Now you can remove your stickers if you want to, or you can leave them on, it really makes no difference. But we're going to start with our 36 gauge needle. Now this is a thicker needle, which is great for doing the core of your projects. And we're going to take our dowel. We're going to pull off a sliver of our wool. We're going to take our dowel and we're going to really tightly wrap the wool around the dowel. Like that. And then when you get to the end piece, you're just going to gently felt it in place so it doesn't move. Now when you do this, it's really important that you don't hit the dowel, because if you do, it will break your needle. You can use your felting pad to lay it on if you want to. And then once you've done that, all we're going to do is we're going to keep adding more and more wool. So we're going to wrap it tightly around the dowel, like so. And then felt it into place. And then when we get to a relatively nice thickness, we're then going to start felting it all the way over the whole surface. Remember to not go too deep so you don't hit that dowel. Now you want your egg to be firm but still a bit bouncy. Now inside your booklet you've got a template, so keep checking your egg against the template to make sure that it fits within that, and just keep felting all over. So if it's a bit too long, you just felt it upwards like that, and that will shorten it. Now it's really important when you are felting that you hold your needle at the right angle. You don't want to go in sideways because it will break the needle, so always keep it at that 45 degrees. And just keep going until your egg looks something like this. So it fits inside the template. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there you go. So now all we're going to do is we're going to pull the egg off the dowel. And there you go, you've got your egg. We're going to lay it onto our felting mats. Now, depending on what colour you want your base, as you saw from the eggs that we do a nice farm scene similar to this, and then we've got some really nice pink flower designs. So what I'm going to do on this egg is I'm going to do half and half so I can show you both designs. So for the pink flower design, all I'm going to do is put a really nice thin layer of the Romney wool over the egg, and then I'm going to use my 40 gauge needle because this is better for detail. It stops the holes showing on the surface, and I'm just going to felt that until it's really nice and smooth. And this can take a little while, and it's worth taking your time because you really want that surface to be nice. Now in your box you've got a lovely collection of colours, but for this design we're only going to be using these 4. So the other 3 we'll set them aside and we're just going to work on these. So the first technique I'm going to show you is how to do vines. Now all you're going to do is pull off a really thin piece of your green wool, and you're going to roll it in your hands. Now this will cause the wool to felt together slightly, and that's exactly what we want. So, and you can start to feel that it starts to stiffen up. There you go, so now we've got a little strand of it. We're going to take our 40 gauge needle and we're going to felt in one end. It doesn't matter where you put it wherever you want and in whatever shape you would like, and you're just going to gently felt it in like that. Now I think I'm going to have mine curling round here. And then I think I'm going to do a bit of a twirl like that. So you can just gently felt it into place so you know where it's going. See, mine I think is a little bit long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back in on itself. Got that there, onto there. So that just holds it into place, but now what we want to do is get the really nice sharp lines. So we're going to felt it down a little bit more. Then we're going to swap and we're going to go to our 36 gauge needle. And what we're going to do is just felt around the edge of the colour. Now this is going to draw the colour into the underneath and just start to thin it out and give it a little bit more definition. keep going all the way around the edge until you've got it the thickness that you would like. I'm going to swap back over and use my 38 just to smooth down the surface. And then I'm going to take my 36 again. All you're doing is tweaking it until you've got it just right. There you go, so now we've got a nice 12. Now we're going to have a go at making the flowers. So we're going to take a little bit of wool, and we're going to roll it into a ball in our hands. So nice and tight, you need to be quite firm with this. There you go. You're going to take your 36 gauge needle and you're just going to gently felt it to hold it into place. And then you're going to go round the edge in a circular motion. And then we're going to felt the centre down. I'm going to take my 40 gauge and just try to get it a little bit smoother on top. And then I'm going to go back to my 36 gauge and I'm just going to, same as we done with the vine, I'm going to go round the edges again just to give it that really defined edge. And there you go, we have a nice petal. Now I'm going to do those in a whole circle. I'm going to do about 5 of those and I'm going to do a yellow one in the centre for the flower. Another thing that we can do is the buds, which I really enjoy doing. So it's very similar, you roll it in your hands, not as tight this time. And then we're going to take our 36 gauge needle, we're going to just tack it into place really carefully. And with our 40 gauge, I'm going to start defining the shape. So this time we want almost like a teardrop shape. So pointy at one end and nice and rounded at the other end. swap over and use my 36 gauge again, just to get that nice defined shape. There we go. And now we're going to take a little bit of green. Now we only need a tiny bit of this. We're just going to fold it over a few times on itself, like that. And then we're going to lay it across the bottom of our bud. And very gently just tack both sides down. And just start tacking it all the way around the bottom. And then with your 40 gauge, we're going to pull the centre down so we get almost like a V. And then here we go. Then just gently felt it into place. And swap your needle over to your 36 to once again do that really nice defined edging. There you go, and we have a nice little bud. So the other technique that I like to use on here is to do my bluebells. So I'm going to take a really small piece of the blue and I'm going to rub it in my fingers or the palms, however you like. And then using your 38 gauge needle, you're going to tack down one end, so it's filtered in like so. And then with this, we're just going to twist it until it starts to twist back in on itself. And then you're going to find the end and you're going to tack that down. And then just put a couple of little tacks in it. And you get this lovely bouncy blue flowers, which I absolutely love, and it's such a simple technique that anyone can do. So that's all the techniques that I use on a flower. Now you can do whatever you want on these eggs. The idea of it is you use your own creativity. I'm just here to show you a few little techniques. So let's have a go at doing a landscape. So we're going to take some of our blue wool. You're just going to pull it out like that. Now I want to add a little bit of yellow that kind of looks like a sunset. So I'm just going to take a small amount of the yellow and I'm going to lay it onto my blue like that. And then on the top portion of the egg, I'm just going to lay it on. And using my 40 gauge needle, I'm going to felt it into place. Okay, so now that you've done that, it's time to add a bit of detail. So I'm going to go for some green, because I want to make some lovely fields across the bottom. Now, I'm not going to do these in a straight line, but you can do them however you want. I think I'm going to do them so they dip down and look like hills. Now you can either go for a really nice smooth finish to this, or you can leave it quite fluffy and quite textured, which also looks nice. Definitely if you're doing different types of landscapes, so say I was going to add a lot of little flowers to this section, it'd look really nice left fluffy because it would look more like a meadow. So I need a bit more green to do the other hill. So I'm just going to overlap that slightly. I'm going to bring that side up higher than the other side, like that. I'm going to change my needle and use my 36 just to get some nice lines across it. There you go, so now we've got our nice fields. Now our egg was based on the Romney Marsh farm itself. So they've got these beautiful shepherd huts and all of the sheep roaming around and this beautiful landscape. So I'm going to try to replicate that slightly in this again. So we're going to make the fence. Now this is exactly the same as how we've done the vines. So you're just going to take a little bit of wool, you're going to rub it in your hands, like so. We're going to take our 40 gauge needle and I'm going to run my fence along the hill, like that. And I'm going to run it all the way down to the bottom of my egg, like that. Felt it into place. So another piece. Now because we want it to look like it's coming towards us, we're going to do the lines furthest away, closer together. And the ones closer, we're just going to do them slightly wider. to swap over and use my 36 gauge. Okay, and now we need to make some lines going the other way that looks like the fence posts. So exactly the same thing, and we're going to put them across the two lines that we've just made. Like so. And we're just going to do this all the way along the fence. But they're going to get smaller the further away. There we go, I think that's my last one. Oh. There we go, so now we've got our fence. Now I think I'm going to add the shepherd's hut just here. So I'm going to do the shepherd's hut in a grey. Once again, you don't have to do the shepherd's hut, you can do whatever you want on these, whatever scene, with whatever colours, but I'm going to stick to my original design. So I'm going to do the shepherd's hut just on the hill. So all I'm doing is trying to make a rectangle. Just felt around the edges first until you've got the right shape and size that you're after, and then work on felting down the centre. There we go. And I'm going to take my 36 gauge again, and I'm just going to tighten up those edges. Like that. I've got some black, so I'm just going to put in a couple of windows using exactly the same idea. There wasn't quite enough wall on that bit. There we go, and then I'm going to use a bit of brown for the roof, I think. So I'm just rolling it in my hands again. I'm going to place that on top. Remember, tuck in your edges so your wool doesn't move around too much. Now there are templates for these in the books, so you can copy them. You could even, if you wanted to, you could draw onto your egg with a pen or a pencil to mark out where everything's going. It's a nice option, definitely, if you're using dark colours like this. If you're using the white, just be really careful because the white won't necessarily cover it. But with the darker colours, it's absolutely fine to do that. Now for the sheep, we're going to take a bit of the wool that we've got left over from doing our eggs, and we're going to do this same technique that we use for the bluebells. So we're going to roll it in our hands. We're going to felt down one end, and then we're going to twist it on itself like that. There we go. And then I'm going to take a little bit of black, roll it into a ball, and then he's got his little face. So you can add anything else that you want. You could add flowers, you could add other animals, you could add people, you can add birds. You really can do absolutely anything that you want with this. And it's one of the things that I really love about felting, is that it's all about your imagination, and it's really an easy, achievable thing to do. Wool is so forgiving, so if you do a mistake, you can pull it off and you can retry. It's not the end of the world if it goes wrong. So I'm going to add a little bird, so I'll show you how to do that. Tiny little bit of wool, roll it in your fingers, so you've got a nice thin line, and then I'm going to lay it in the sky, and I'm going to pin down the centre like that. And then all I'm going to do is just pin it just slightly above the centre line, and that gives you the illusion of a bird. Now you should have plenty of wool left over at the end of this project, and hopefully you should have some of the beautiful natural Romney wool. If you have, make another egg or make something different, but please do use it and experiment with it, and I hope you love felting as much as we do. So once your egg is finished, he can stand up on your stand and you can display it. Feel free to share what you make with us. We always love seeing people's creations, and thank you for joining us. Happy felting!